Hi, it's Edward, back with another video. Please take a moment to click the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your support. Today I watched an interesting video on the Scotty Kilmer channel titled, Honda just shut down production and fired their workers. I'll include a link to this video in the description below. I encourage you to check it out. According to Scotty Kilmer, Honda is slashing their EV development budget by $20 billion. They are shifting to hybrids. Here are my thoughts. I think this is a smart move. There have been too many vehicle manufacturers in recent years who have jumped on the EV bandwagon. Don't get me wrong, there are people around the world who love their EVs. They would never dream of going back to an internal combustion engine vehicle for a variety of reasons. But there are Americans and other people around the world who still want an internal combustion engine vehicle. And if they can get that internal combustion engine paired with a hybrid system, all the better. Let me explain. When you have a hybrid system, you don't have an alternator, you don't have a starter, and you are rarely going to burn up front brake pads. I hate replacing front brake pads. Because of regenerative braking with hybrids, it is going to take a very long time before you wear out your front brake pads. These are all benefits to having a hybrid from my perspective. When you have an EV, you have range limitations. With a hybrid, you don't have to worry about that. If you have a full tank of gas, it's going to go a long time. Now, I think the lack of charging infrastructure around the country is one of the big reasons that I would never consider an EV. Now, if you live in an urban setting, you probably have access to charging stations everywhere. And in some suburban areas, you do too. But if you live in rural America, you might have to drive a long way before you find a charging station. I'm going to share a story with you. Now, this is from a while back, but I was talking with someone at a Chevrolet dealership, and he was telling me that a Tesla ran out of charge on the highway. And so a tow truck towed that Tesla to the closest charging station, which happened to be at a Chevrolet dealership. Well, the manager of the Chevrolet dealership said, "You can use our charging station, but not until after we close this evening, because we don't want a Tesla parked in front of the Chevrolet dealership when we sell our own EVs. It just doesn't look good. So once we close, you can charge your Tesla." Imagine if you were that person. You had somewhere to go. Maybe you had an appointment to keep, but your entire plans got disrupted because you ran out of charge, and then you had to wait several hours for the dealership to close before you could charge your Tesla. I want nothing to do with that. If I have a full tank of gas, and if I did have a hybrid, I would know I could go a long way. And there are gas stations just about everywhere in America. You're not going to have that same problem that Tesla owner had. Getting back to the Scotty Kilmer video, he said Honda isn't going to build the big EV SUV that they were thinking about. He said that makes a lot of sense. Well, I think it makes a lot of sense too. I don't know why some vehicle manufacturers have built these big SUVs and big pickup trucks that are EVs. I would not want an EV pickup truck. If I had a pickup truck, I would actually use it. I would pull a big trailer with it, or I would pull a boat with it, and I would want to have a system under the hood of that vehicle that had been tested by time. An internal combustion engine vehicle can pull some extreme loads, depending on what you have. I have read online that some EV manufacturers have exaggerated the range that the vehicles can pull a heavy load. I'm really not surprised to hear about that. Getting back to the Scotty Kilmer video, he said EVs aren't ready for prime time yet. He recently traveled from his Rhode Island home to his Tennessee home, and all of the charging stations that he saw along the road were not being used. He said his customers who have EVs still have a gasoline car for vacations and trips. Well, I would have extreme range limitation anxiety on a long trip, especially if it was somewhere I had never been before. Maybe that's because I have some PTSD from being a child. Let me explain. Once my family went on a vacation. My parents were driving the car through the Midwest. We were on a very rural stretch of road and we ran out of gas. My father got out of the car. He had his thumb out there hitchhiking. He was trying to hitch a ride to the nearest gas station to get a gas can to bring back and fill up the tank. My mother was in the car trying not to act worried. My sister was very young at the time, and she was sitting in her car seat, and she used to watch Sesame Street all the time growing up. And if any of you watched Sesame Street decades ago when you were growing up, you probably remember they taught children Spanish words along with English words. Well, one of the Spanish words that my sister learned was agua. Well, she was so hot sitting in the car, she was just saying agua, agua, agua. This is one of the few words that she knew. She was really, really young. Well, it all worked out. He eventually got a gas can, and two nice gentlemen brought him back, filled up the car, and we were on our way. But I have a bit of PTSD because of that situation. Now, a little bit later in life, we took another family vacation. This time, we went to South Dakota. And this was pre-GPS. Well, we got lost, and we ended up on an Indian reservation. This Indian reservation was in a very desolate area. We would see an old trailer from time to time, but no gas stations. Now, fortunately, we did not run out of gas, but we almost did. Had we had a GPS back then, we probably would have felt a little bit of peace, but we were trying to look off an old map, and we were a bit worried that we would not find a gas station in time. So because of these experiences, I don't want to worry about range limitation with an electric vehicle. Like I said, if you're going to be traveling to a rural area and you've never been there, well, you could run into some problems. I think Honda is making the right decision by slashing their EV development budget. I think they should also get rid of their turbo engines, and they should get rid of their CVT transmissions. If you read online, you'll find out there have been a lot of problems with turbo engines and with some of their CVT transmissions. I think they should get back to basics. Build Hondas like they did in the 1990s and the early 2000s. Have a basic 4-cylinder engine and a basic 4-speed transmission. Some of those cars were absolutely bulletproof. And you could work on them too. If you wanted to change the spark plugs, no problem. Everything was accessible. If you needed to change the alternator, you could probably do it in less than 30 minutes. Same goes for the starter. Many of these modern vehicles are a lot harder to work on, and parts are more expensive too. If I was an executive at Honda, I truly would get back to basics. I would build an affordable car for the everyday American customer. I would even offer a radio delete option, and I would offer a screen delete option. Now I realize cars need to have a backup camera, but I wouldn't have one of those big screens. If you wanted to delete the screen, you could have a little screen for your backup camera. Unfortunately, you can't buy a bare bones vehicle anymore here in this country. Back in the day, General Motors manufactured some vehicles that actually offered a radio delete option and even a back seat delete option. Now these were high performance cars, so that's why you would want to have the back seat delete option because of weight. Gone are those days. Now vehicles come loaded with all types of unnecessary technology. It's truly unfortunate for someone who wants to be frugal. I'm curious, what do you think about Honda slashing their EV development budget by $20 billion. Do you think they made a smart move? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, there is a link in the description beneath this video. You can read more about the different membership levels. Please also check out some of the great books I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.